off the log here today. I'll start with an incident that we had a few media inquiries on from Friday night, actually early Saturday morning. This happened at a parking ramp near 10th and Mall around a little after 12:30 Saturday morning, where a shooting was reported. The initial call started with a subject calling in saying that there was people in the ramp that were being disorderly and refusing to leave. When an officer responded to the call, he could hear gunshots being fired within the parking ramp. As additional officers arrived on scene, numerous vehicles and people were leaving the scene, and officers were trying to take in exactly what was going on and what was considered a chaotic scene at that point. At this point, I'll tell you the detectives have been reviewing the video surveillance and talking with witnesses, and at this point we can say that there was some type of dispute between two different groups inside the ramp in which they both exchanged gunfire with each other. We did find evidence of the shooting on scene, and several vehicles in the ramp also have been hit with shots that were fired inside there. There was also a report from an 18-year-old male victim who had been possibly grazed with a bullet or two, maybe. Looks like he had superficial injuries is what was reported as a part of the gunfire. He was treated on scene by paramedics, did not get hospitalized because of that. Again, we're still trying to figure out exactly what took place leading up to this incident and exactly all the people that are involved in the vehicles that are driving. So this is an open and ongoing investigation at this point, so I'll give you more information when I have it, but right now it's kind of something that the detectives are working on as far as reviewing video surveillance, talking to additional witnesses just to try to determine who is all involved in this. I will say at the end of this, or actually after officers got on scene near the end of the incident, they had stopped a vehicle that was leaving the ramp. The officer that had stopped this vehicle had heard a gunshot go off inside the vehicle. The driver of the vehicle exited and reported that he had been unloading his pistol inside the car and it went off. A pistol was found in the vehicle by the officers, and the driver was placed under arrest. His last name is D-O-E, first name of Rudy, R-U-D-Y, the middle of D-A-M-B-O. He's 22 years old of Sioux Falls. He was taken to jail for several charges, including reckless discharge of a firearm, committing or attempting to commit a felony with a firearm, and possession of a controlled substance. At this point, he's not currently to be involved in the incident with the shooting. At this point, we don't think he's a suspect in that. We're still working on finding all the details out for this incident, though. Any questions on that?
So I guess with the dispute, was it just one? Do you know if it was just one gun that was going off, or was it multiple different guns that were going off?
Multiple guns went off, yep. The disputing parties each had guns and fired at each other, from what witnesses are telling us.
How many gunshots were fired?
I'm not going to be able to say at this point. Still working on that.
Did you say what exact time this happened at?
This was at 12:36 Saturday morning. Yeah, 18th.
Drugs and alcohol, I was asked, did that play a part? Did
Still,
that contribute?
yeah, we still trying to figure out who's involved, so at this point we're not quite sure.
Other than the 18-year-old, is there any indication that there were any other injuries?
No other injuries have been reported to us at this point.
And then I guess you said you guys don't think that this person was a suspect in the case. How do you rule him out?
Well, the witnesses have told us that these
car,
are some,
I'm talking
yeah.
about the car afterwards.
Yeah, the car, from what we're getting so far, it doesn't appear that it is. I mean, we can't say 100%, but at this point it appears that he is not a suspect in an original shooting.
How concerning is it that you've got two groups of people shooting at each other?
Well, it's very concerning. I mean, that's a parking ramp. There's a lot of people around at that time. As we saw when we arrived, there's a lot of people leaving, driving away. There's some yelling, screaming going on. So it is concerning, yeah.
Is there any suspicion that it's maybe gang related?
I'm not sure.
Do you know how many vehicles were hit by the bullets?
I'm still working on determining all the vehicles. Yep.
There were a lot of protests or setups this weekend, I guess peaceful protests this weekend. Did it have any ties? Did this incident have any ties to that?
Not that we've been told.